Your summer holidays as a kid felt like they lasted forever. This summer will be over before you've had time to notice it started. Nothing about your life has actually sped up. No day is shorter than it was when you were 10, but something in your brain has changed, and it's been quietly stealing your time ever since. And the worst part is, it started the moment you stopped being new to the world. Let's go back to the 1890s. A French philosopher named Paul Janet was the first person to notice this wasn't just a feeling, it was a pattern. He observed that his elderly patients consistently described their lives as having passed in a flash, while his younger patients described the same span of years as feeling almost endless. Janet proposed something simple but devastating. He called it the proportional theory of time. The idea is this: when you are 10 years old, 1 year represents 10% of your entire life. It's a genuinely large chunk of everything you've ever known. But when you are 40, 1 year is only 2.5% of your life. The same 365 days, the same 24 hours in each one. But experienced against the backdrop of everything that came before it, it feels smaller, faster, almost compressed. This wasn't just philosophy, it was the first serious attempt to explain why time doesn't feel equal across a human life. But Janet's proportional theory only got part of the way there. Because if it were purely about proportion, the acceleration would be gradual and smooth. A slow, steady compression across your entire life. And that's not what people actually experience. In 2005, psychologist Marc Wittmann at the Institute for Frontier Areas of Psychology in Germany ran a study asking people of different ages to rate how fast the last week, month, year, and decade of their lives had felt. The results were not a smooth curve. Short periods, days, and weeks felt roughly the same speed to everyone regardless of age. But as the time window got longer, something shifted. Decades felt dramatically faster to older participants than to younger ones. The acceleration wasn't happening day to day. It was happening at the level of years, which pointed to something specific. It wasn't that older people were experiencing each moment faster, it was that they were forming fewer memories inside each year. And without memories to mark the passage of time, years collapsed into each other. The distance between last January and this one felt shorter because there was simply less inside it. Here's where it gets strange. Your brain doesn't record time like a clock. It records time like a highlight reel. What gets saved isn't duration. What gets saved is novelty, new experiences, things that surprised you, moments that didn't fit the existing pattern of your life. When you were a child, almost everything was new. Your first day of school, your first bike, the first time you stayed up past midnight. Every week contained experiences your brain had never processed before, and so every week left behind a dense, rich archive of memories. When you look back at your childhood, it feels long because there is so much inside it. Because your brain was saving almost everything. But something happens as you get older. Your life, without you noticing, starts to repeat itself. You take the same route to work, you eat at the same restaurants, you talk to the same people about roughly the same things, and your brain, which evolved to conserve energy wherever possible, stops saving what it has already seen. Why record Tuesday if Tuesday looks exactly like last Tuesday? The result is a life with fewer and fewer anchors in memory. And without those anchors, time stops feeling like something you are moving through and starts feeling like something that is moving past you. A 2019 study by researchers at Duke University took this further. They found that the physical process of visual perception itself slows down as we age. The brain's ability to acquire and process new images decreases over time, meaning that in any given second, an older brain is processing fewer distinct mental images than a younger one. Fewer images per second means fewer moments captured, and fewer moments captured means time, in retrospect, feels like it went faster. In other words, it isn't just memory, it's perception. Your brain is literally taking fewer snapshots of reality as you age, and when you play the film back, a reel with fewer frames always feels shorter than it actually was. But here's the part that nobody tells you. This isn't fixed. The research on novelty and memory formation consistently points to the same conclusion. The speed at which your life feels like it's passing is almost directly tied to how many new experiences you are having. Not grand adventures, not dramatic life changes, just new. A new route home, a new book, A conversation with someone you've never spoken to before. A meal you've never tried. Every genuinely new experience is an anchor, a point in time your brain decides is worth saving. And the more anchors you leave behind in a year, the longer that year feels when you look back at it. The philosopher William James wrote in 1890 that in youth we may have an absolutely new experience at every hour of the day. As years pass, he wrote, the days and weeks smooth themselves out into contentless units. What he couldn't have known was that neuroscience more than a century later would confirm exactly what he felt. The compression isn't inevitable. It's a side effect of routine. So here's what's actually happening every time you feel like a year went by too fast. Your brain spent most of that year on autopilot, running efficient, familiar programs, saving almost nothing new. And when December arrived and you tried to account for where the time went, there wasn't much there to count. You didn't lose the time. Your brain just didn't bother to record it. When you were 10, the world was strange and new and worth remembering. Every summer left behind dozens of memories dense enough to make it feel like a season that actually happened. And now, without you choosing it, without you even noticing, your brain has decided that most of what happens to you isn't new enough to save. The clock hasn't changed. You have. And the only thing that has ever slowed time down for anyone at any age is the same thing that made childhood feel so long in the first place: paying attention to something you've never seen before.